So we just passed through the little town of Eldridge, Missouri, about a mile back. I came out of Springfield this morning and went up to Lebanon, and then out of Lebanon to Eldridge. And now we're going left. The road is turning to the right, and we're going to go left onto Katy Lane. Great location. Eldridge is a very, very small town. I think there's one little convenience store, maybe a couple odds and ends. But I mean, it's handy to have the convenience store 2 miles away. But then we're between the towns of Camdenton to the north and Lebanon to the south. So only about 15 miles, 20 miles to either town. Camdenton is a great town because it's right there at the Lake of the Ozarks. It's the main town at Lake of the Ozarks. So you can rent boats or jet skis or whatever you want. Fish, jet ski, play around on the lake. It's fantastic. In fact, we took our family vacation there this summer for 2 weeks, and it was amazing. Just rented a little house on the lake. And then to the south, you've got Lebanon, which is another fairly large regional town with lots of stores and employment and restaurants. So you've got access to all that stuff, but you still have your own very private property out here. We go, I believe it's about a quarter mile on Katy Lane, and we'll see the property on the right side of the road. You can see a mobile home there on the left. That means we're getting very close. Now, just after that mobile home, the property begins on the right. So that's it on the right side of the road. We'll pull into the driveway. Driveway's a little steep. Well, it's a lot steep. I'm in a truck and it was no problem. In a car, that would be a little bit of an issue. The guys just put this driveway in, and they intentionally leave them kind of steep like this because it just holds up. They hold up really well with the rain and the elements if they're steep like that, and then you don't have to have a culvert. But obviously, if you were in a car, you'd probably want to take a shovel or by hand, whatever, smooth that out a little bit. So we just pulled onto the property. Unfortunately, it's really overcast today, but I still wanted to get out here and get a video. You kind of get to see the property at its worst. This is not an easement road. This is the property itself. So you own the actual land here where we are. You can see that power and phone were back there on Katy Lane. And we're going to drive to the north. And the guys told me they did kind of opened up a natural clearing back here. They said most of this trail was already here. They just kind of ran the dozer up and down it, straightened it out a little bit. You have a couple options. Well, you have 3 options, I guess, on this. One, you can leave it exactly as it is. Option 2 would be to have some gravel hauled in, which could be a good deal. Excuse me. And option 3 is to spread some grass seed. Any of the 3 ways are okay. Our preferred way is usually to spread some grass seed and rake it in. And then that'll make the road really solid once that grass takes hold. There's the little dozer they were using today. That is not included with the property, although I'm not sure you would want it anyway. We've had that for a while. It's been good, but it needs some work. So now we've gone back to the north a few hundred feet. The property basically widens out where we are now. We should be almost to the cleared site as well. I wish we had a sunnier day for this, because this is just a beautiful property. You can see there are a ton of nice big trees. This property was logged a couple years ago, but you can tell it was basically a select cut, because there's a lot of mature timber left out here. Amazing area for wildlife, deer, white-tailed deer, and wild turkeys, or wild turkey, not sure which is correct. In fact, here on a cedar tree, you can see a very recent rub from a buck. You'll find those all over this property. I'm gonna hop back in the truck and we'll cruise on to the little building site, camping site, and we'll see what we can see. Now, the guys told me that the site is not huge. It's big enough to turn around, and they kind of unearthed a couple of pretty big stumps when they were in here working. So this is the site. Obviously, since the dozer was in here, it did tear up the ground a little bit, but it gives you an idea of what you could have with just a little work. There's enough room to pull in and turn around, so I like that. Okay. So I just pulled down onto the site. You can see these two stumps. They told me about these two stumps. They didn't have a way to get rid of these today. The little dozer just couldn't get them out. So they put a big rock next to that stump and on top of that stump, so that you don't tangle with those if you're coming in here late at night, if it's dark or whatnot. A lot of nice big trees here. And I'm looking basically to the west. I think what I'll do is I'll just walk toward the west and I'll keep the camera running. And I'm excited to see this property because I haven't had a chance to take a look at it at all. Big property. It's already extremely private back here, but if you wanted even more privacy, all you would have to do is clear a little trail going back to the west. Although honestly, this is a good building site right up here. It's not quite completely level, so it wouldn't be a boring place to build. It's got just a little slope to it, which I think can make a yard interesting. Oh, there's another really fresh rub. I'm sure you can already tell, or that you've already seen, that it's the middle of winter here in the Ozarks. This will look completely different in the spring and summertime when the leaves come back. There are a lot of options on this property. This much usable land in this area is just fantastic. This could be a great place for either your primary residence or maybe a second home or a cabin. I kind of got myself into a patch of briars here. Let's go through this. without ever having been on this property, I really don't know where to go. I'm looking off toward the west and the north, and I see a lot of really pretty spots. This might be a deal where you just want to have someone come in with the bulldozer for a few hours and push a little trail for you going back to the west. Always nice to have a nice trail on your property. Now here's kind of a naturally open spot. This could be a good spot to build. You can also clear trails by hand, of course. It just takes longer. Really nice property, and with electric and phone right there at the road, makes it super convenient. Yeah, this looks great. In the summertime, this would be gorgeous. We've got a little bit of a view off to the west because the land does slope down. Once the leaves are back on the trees, you'll be seeing mostly the big, beautiful green leaves. I think I'll just kind of cut it off here. We only saw really just a small portion of the property. It continues west for a long, long way. So if this is something you're buying for a recreational property or a hunting property, I mean, you could easily have a mile or two of trails or roads for hunting and for access. All it would take is someone with the little dozer to come in and push a path for you. Really great opportunity to have a property with multiple spots for building sites or camping sites to put your RV or whatever you want to do. Great area as well. Close to Lebanon, close to Lake of the Ozarks. Right outside the little town of Eldridge. So that's the property on Katy Lane by Eldridge, Missouri.